Hey, what's up? Dave here. I want to do a really quick tutorial on how to shoot in the studio with the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II. This is a popular camera for the bloggers. Camera for the bloggers. It's a popular camera for the bloggers. It's not a popular camera for the bloggers. It's a popular camera for the vloggers with a V, not a B, a V. Anyway, we're going to talk about how to use this as a studio camera. Yeah, that's right. It does not have a sync port on it anywhere. It doesn't have any kind of ports to connect an external flash nor any way to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the little external flash, which I have popped up here. And it's kind of hidden down there. If you want to pop it up, you flip the switch on the side right here and it pops it up. We're going to use this flash in a specific mode, the manual mode, in order to fire a studio flash. But there's a little trick to doing this in order to get it to look good. So what we're going to do is go into the menu on the camera and see if we can position the camera to do this, to take a better view of this. Okay guys, we're going to set up our menu for external flash shooting with the Canon G7X Mark II. So we're going to go into the menu. Let's back out. We're going to go into the menu and hit menu, and at the lower right hand corner on the back it's going to bring up our menu system. We want to be on the icon at the far left, so we're going to use the zoom knob on top here, which is normally the zoom knob, but that's going to move us over to the camera. And then from here we're going to move over to menu number 5 by using the button on the pad. And then you're going to scroll down. It's already on flash settings for me, but if it were at the top, you're going to use the spinner on the pad in order to scroll down to flash settings and hit OK. And when we're in the flash settings, you want the flash mode to be manual on the top like I have it right now, but you just hit OK and it's going to probably be auto. We're going to switch it down to manual. And then on the flash output, we want that to minimum. It's probably going to be the default, but if you go in there, you got minimum, medium, and maximum. We're going to go ahead and hit minimum, hit OK, and we're good to go. That's how we want to set up our flash in order to use it to trigger an external flash. Alright, now that we looked at the menu, let's get ready and take some test shots with the G7X Mark II triggering an external flash. I'm going to show you the trick to get it to do that in order to make it look natural. So the first thing we're going to do is turn the camera on, and we're going to do the little button on the side to pop up the flash so that will automatically fire. When the flash is up, you should see in the left hand side, the third icon down should show you the flash button and then one little bar, which means it's on the manual setting at the minimum amount. So we don't want any more than we have to. We want just enough from this flash to trigger my external flash. And of course, you've probably already figured out by now that we're going to trigger it through the slave setting. So you need an external flash that has the ability to act as a slave. And using the flash in the manual mode, like we set it up on the Canon G7X Mark II, if you use the flash in this way, you're not going to have to mess around with trying to figure out a pre-flash and post-flash, and is it the second or third or whatever. You're just going to set your slave on a single flash, because that's all it's going to do. It's in manual mode. It's just going to put out a single output once. It's not going to do the pre-flash. That's why we want it in manual mode, so we don't have to mess with that or rely on our flash seeing a second or third flash in order to fire it. Even though a lot of the flashes nowadays allow you to pick an S1, S2, and so forth. We're just going to set our flash into a regular slave mode, S1 or just plain slave, depending on your flash model. And I'm using the Godox flashes, the Godox 8600 Studio Flash for this example, but you could use any of the other Godox flashes. You could use the little TT685 like right here. You could use the Lumo Pro line of flashes, or any of the other brands, which I'm sure also have a setting for a slave, so they'll fire when they see another flash fire. So all we need out of this little guy is just enough flash to trigger our studio flash. But again, there's a little trick to this, and I'm going to show you that trick here in a second. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's go ahead and take a picture. I have my subject here. My subject is my trusty old film camera, Canon A1. We're going to use that as a little product shot. Let's get some things out of the way. And we're going to move it over here, and I've got my camera set up. And I also have the camera set in manual mode as well. So that way I can dial in just the right amount of shutter and the aperture that I want. When working in the studio, you should always be working in manual mode anyway. So that's what we're going to do with this camera, since it also has that capability as well. Unfortunately, they didn't give us a flash sync port, but they did give us manual mode, and they did give us the ability to put the flash in manual, which gets us a lot of the way there. So I have my, over here to my, you can kind of see a little bit of right here in the corner, my big 36-inch softbox and my Godox 8600 flash. It's set into the slave mode, just a single slave mode, so it's just going to fire the first time that it sees a flash. So we're going to put my Canon A1 here as my subject, and I'm going to hold the camera really close to it. And the settings that I'm using at this point in time is, because I wanted to test the capabilities of the camera, is set at 1.8 with shutter speed of 2/50th. And I set the shutter speed, was set at 1.8 and the shutter speed at a 2/50th, and I put it at 2/50th because I don't want any of the ambient light to be picked up. I got a video light on here, so if I set it too slow, it's going to get, the video light's going to interfere with it. So right now I'm going to take a shot just like this, straight up with the flash at the camera, at the subject. We're going to shoot, and you can see it fired. The flash here triggered the big Godox flash, and it fired. And we'll take a look at that picture here. And as you look at this picture, what you're going to see is that the little flash, because it was pointed at the subject, it actually kind of filled it in, because I'm shooting at 1.8. So it's not going to take a lot of light for that 1.8 to pick up. So that little bit of, even on the minimal amount, it picked up that light, and it created more, it's still a flat, kind of a fill look on the subject, and it's kind of washed out, as you see in this photo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a couple things here. We're going to do another one. And this time, here's the trick. Right here it is. This is the trick. We're going to take this little flash, and you see how I can kind of flip it, where you're going to take your finger and you're going to hold it. You're going to hold it back, so it's pointed straight up to the ceiling, and it's not forward, but up at like an angle. So we're going to point it straight up to the ceiling. Hold it with your finger. Go to your subject. Take another photo. Boom. Much better. Now that flash, it's just shooting up at the ceiling, and it's a small amount of flash, just enough to fire our Godox 8600, but not enough to interfere with our subject and create a whole bunch of fill and flattening everything out that we don't need. So if we take a look at this photo, this one's better. We can see it's still probably a little brighter than I would want. So at this point, I'll take my Godox and I'll dial the power down a little bit. We're going to dial it down one stop, and we'll take another picture here. Now again, I had the flash facing forward. You can see it filled too much in. We're going to take our finger, pull it back, get it up out of the way. So the soft light, now we end up with a beautiful product shot. Nice soft lighting from the side with no interference from the pop-up flash. And that's just that quick hack. I guess it's not quick, it's probably done like 10 minutes or so, right? That's a hack that you can use with the Canon G7X Mark II to get some pretty daggone good shots in the studio with it. This camera's got a super fast lens, very sharp, super fast lens, and takes beautiful product shots. It also does macro, so it focuses really close. And then you can do your vlogging with it too, but why not? If you've already got it for vlogging or another purpose, why not grab a studio light or one of these little Godox flashes and use it to wirelessly trigger this. Probably would not work outside. I don't recommend trying it outside, although you could try it. It's probably not going to be powerful enough for it to see in conjunction with all the sunlight. But anyway, that's how you can use this G7X Mark II in the studio. Hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, and maybe I can make another one sometime down the road. In any event, keep shooting.